I'm making an executive decision.
Uh-oh.
We're moving into the summer. I think this summer we're going to cover just
Summer movies
/ kids in danger.
Sweep the leg. You have a problem with that?
Welcome to the Project Gen X Retro Summer Series 2022.
Sarah, beware. I have been generous up until now, but I can be cruel.
Starting in May and ending in August, we will review the summer movies from our youth that include Tron.
Still don't understand why you want to break into the system.
Because, man, somewhere in one of these memories is the evidence. If I got in far enough, I could reconstruct it.
Adventures in Babysitting.
Don't fuck with the babysitter.
The Goonies.
Don't say that! Never say that! Goonies never say die!
Back to the Future.
Whoa, this is heavy. There's that word again, heavy. Why are things so heavy in the future? Is there a problem with the Earth's gravitational pull? What?
And so much more.
We talked into the night. The kind of talk that seemed important until you discover girls.
If I can only have one food for the rest of my life, that's easy. Pass. Cherry flavor pass.
Along the way, we will also sprinkle in some non-movie goodness that will remind us what it was like to be a kid when the socks were high, the shorts were extra short, and there wasn't a cell phone to be seen.
E.T. phone home. E.T. phone home. Wants to call somebody.
So sit back and join Big Dave, Barry, and myself, Alan Smith, to relive the magic of the 80s and the retro summer. So, welcome back to the Project Gen X podcast. I am one of your hosts, Alan Smith, along with
Barry.
And today we have a very special guest whom you have heard their name several times on
many
here.
times.
This week we are joined by the infamous Amy.
Hey, y'all.
I think we're going to have to coax her a little bit.
Yeah,
so
She's a rookie at this, folks. Be kind.
it's all right. Hey, believe me, you're going to be a little timid, and then all been like midway through this thing, you're going to be like, all right, here we go.
She's going to be telling us both to shut the hell up, you know?
I mean,
What are we doing? What are we doing? We're covering SpaceCamp.
We're covering a very, very special movie, and
all
this is the main reason why I pulled in the infamous Amy on this one. Sweetie, do you want to tell them about this movie? Go ahead and tell them what we're doing.
And you can hear Lola in the background.
Yes,
we're talking about SpaceCamp.
Get in the microphone.
Yep.
Stay in the microphone.
There you go.
We're talking about SpaceCamp
Yes.
Why are we talking about SpaceCamp?
because it's my favorite movie of all time.
It's also one of your favorite things of all time.
I went to SpaceCamp. Barry went to SpaceCamp.
I did not go to SpaceCamp.
Yeah.
I wanted to, but I never did.
You missed the memo.
Yeah.
Barry and I went to SpaceCamp about a month apart the same year when we were kids. And we didn't know
We just
this.
barely missed each
Yeah.
other. Yeah.
Yeah, if ever there was proof that you're in the right place at the right time with
Yeah.
the right person, by God,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, I understand that.
All
I
right.
understand
Well, let's go over the specs on this thing.
All right.
This is one of my favorite movies, and I know it's one of Amy's too, and I think you're on board too, but it doesn't really matter. This is Argos.
Oh, yeah. Hey, this was already in the works
Yes.
before I declared that we were going to do retro summer. We'd already talked about, we'll do SpaceCamp, we'll do, and then it just all fell into the, oh yeah, no, this is a perfect kids in danger movie. So,
I would agree.
All right. So here's what we got. SpaceCamp, again, released June 6th in 1986. That may sound a familiar date.
yeah, 666, yeah.
We'll get into that a little bit later, too.
Oh, dear.
It's directed by Henry Weiner, or Weiner, however you want to pronounce his last name. I don't know.
That would be Wiener.
Is it Weiner?
Wiener.
Okay, yeah. Well,
Amy knows the wiener.
Amy's a fan of the Wiener. So.
What? We're not even 2 minutes in. You're already... What?
All right. Written and produced by Patrick Bailey. We'll go over the cast here in just a moment. The score by John Williams.
John Williams,
yes.
And I looked up the soundtrack to see if like any of the other music's on it. No, it's all John Williams.
Yeah.
That's all it is. So.
And honestly, what more do you need at that point? So we've got.
They actually used a lot of cool music in the film
That's true.
itself, but it didn't make the soundtrack probably for whatever
licensing reasons or something. There's a lot of background music that was used on it, but unfortunately on the official soundtrack that was not there. But it was produced by ABC Motion Pictures, which means it was a 20th Century Fox. Original budget on this thing was, it really just depends on where you look, because some places claim 18 million, some claim 25, 26 million. It didn't do so well in the box office. In fact, it only made about 9 mil.
Just south of 10.
Yeah, just south of 10 on it. But there are reasons. There are definite reasons for the box office not doing quite so well.
I mean, if you're going to launch a movie...
Launch. I like that.
That was funny.
If you're going to launch a movie about sending kids up into space...
By accident.
Merely 4 months after the teacher in space incident... Well,
that's true. That's true. That was shortly after the Challenger.
Yeah, it was in January. January 26, 1986 was when the Challenger kind of went boom.
Kind of.
And they had this slated for a summer release, and they're going to be, that was the big thing, is the big push. And then when that went south, it was kind of like, you really don't have anywhere to go on that now. You're kind of stuck with the idea. But we'll go over to cast really quick, because this cast, to coin a phrase from my man Alan over here, it is a murderer's row.
It really, the longer I watch this movie, the more it's like, oh, I recognize that person.
Yeah, I remember
I recognize that person.
Oh, my gosh,
yeah,
it was crazy. So first off, Kate Capshaw, also known as Mrs. Steven Spielberg. Played Andy Bergstrom. She was kind of the main...
And I will say this. She did an all right Texas accent.
It wasn't bad.
It wasn't like... I've heard some Vanderbeek. Okay.
Yeah. All right. I don't want your life.
Exactly.
But and for those of you that don't know who we're talking about, she was also Willy Willy in Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom.
Temple of Doom, yeah. Which is where her and Spielberg met.
Yes.
So
yeah. Tom Skerritt.
Mr. Tom Skerritt, who is like Mr. late 70s all through the 80s. He was in Top Gun.
Oh.
He was in Singles. He was in Poison Ivy.
Yes.
He was in Contact.
He was in Contact.
He was in Contact.
He was in The Parent Trap 2.
Yes. Yes.
I remember this. He was the love interest. He was the one that they were trying. He was in MASH.
You know? He was in the original, the movie production of MASH, but he plays Zach Bergstrom, who's kind of the head of SpaceCamp and Andy's husband.
Steel Magnolias. He was in Alien.
Oh,
he was in Alien. How do we forget he was in Alien?
He was the husband in Steel, the daddy.
Right.
Daddy husband in Steel Magnolias, the one that peed in the sink and shot the magnolia bush.
Right. How did we forget he was in Alien?
I don't know. Leah Thompson.
What wasn't she in?
Oh my gosh!
The
well,
80s,
I've got to go back and look at the actual dates. If she had just finished Back to the Future, if she was just about to do Back to the Future.
No, Back to the Future came out the previous year.
Okay, so she
came out in 85.
just finished on that one.
This was filmed in the summer of '85.
But she had been in Red Dawn 2 years prior to this.
Oh, I can't stand that movie.
And that's a good thing you weren't on our
Tate Donovan. Oh, I'm sorry. Leah Thompson played Kathleen Fairley. Yes, she is. She's the one that's so gung ho about flight and SpaceCamp. Wants to be the
Howard
first.
The Duck. How do we forget? She was in Howard the Duck.
Of course,
I mean, come on.
But she was the first female
pilot.
No, not the pilot.
Shuttle commander.
First female shuttle commander. Tate Donovan. Again, hey, it's that guy.
Oh, wait. Tate Donovan was in this. He was in Love Potion #9.
Yes.
He was in the OC.
He was the voice of Hercules.
He was the voice of Hercules. Yes, he was. Tate Donovan was he was one of those in this era.
Mm-hmm.
They were really trying to make him
like the next guy.
And
he always played the rich kid that was jerky but had like that underlying sense of the
sympathy and the big-hearted rich kid, But he plays Hideo Takamine.
Yes.
Or Kevin Donaldson.
Yeah.
You'll get that joke later on.
Actually, look at Hideo Takamine's name, character, or person that played Hideo Takamine. His name is like Ken Black or something.
Yeah, it's some common name, but
I'm trying.
Larry B. Scott.
Scott Holcomb is his name.
Scott Holcomb. Yeah.
Yeah. Very Anglo name.
Oh, very much so for a not very Anglo guy. But Larry B. Scott played Rudy Tyler.
Okay.
Rudy Tyler, babe.
Rudy's the best on
Yes,
the RMS.
absolutely.
He was in Revenge of the Nerds.
Yes.
Karate Kid.
Yes.
Iron
Iron Eagle.
I was just Iron Eagle.
Yeah.
He
was
wanted to have
also
the first
in
fast food
something we
restaurant.
already covered.
Yes.
He was in War Games.
Yes, he was.
He
For a
got
very,
short amount of time.
Very
And I
small
noticed
window,
it.
but he was in it.
I noticed that. I was like, oh, dude, that's, yeah. So,
So the next one, Kelly Preston,
Or
R.I.P.
Mrs. John Travolta.
John Travolta. So,
She was in Jerry Maguire. She was in For the Love of the Game. She was, a ton of
more
movies.
importantly,
Yes.
she was in Battlefield Earth.
Oh, God. Why? Why do you hate me? Why do you hate me for bringing that back up? But she plays...
She was also in View from the Top. Did you ever
Is
see
that
that?
a religious
Yes.
obligation?
What to bring up? I'll be the first one to tell you I got no love for the Scientologists around
She
here.
played Trish, and I'm going to pronounce this right, Ambrose.
Yes.
Which is like one of the most foofy names I've ever heard, but it's still awesome.
It matches her hair, makeup, and earrings.
Yes. The character of Max Graham was played by an actor, a very well-known actor now, but not at the time,
By the
Leif
name of
Phoenix.
It's Leif Phoenix.
Leif Phoenix. But you know him better as Joaquin Phoenix.
Yes.
And
every once in a while, he has that look where it's
Yeah,
there it is.
Yep.
There it is.
See it coming. You
There's
see
the
it
Joker
coming.
right
Mhm.
there. You know.
And the one that I know is going to hit you in a very special place in your heart, playing the voice of Jinx, was Frank Welker.
Mm-hmm.
Also known as Fred from Scooby-Doo.
Yep.
Or more importantly, Megatron.
Yes.
He played Megatron in the Transformers movie.
Now, one small role that I did not realize. Again, this is one of those I'm watching. I'm like, I did not realize he was in it. Terry O'Quinn.
Yes.
Is in this. He plays he's a launch director. He was never given.
Yeah,
an
it's just
actual
a
name.
very, very.
As
small
soon as I
role.
heard his name or his voice, I was like, oh, it's Terry O'Quinn. That's Terry O'Quinn. Just
and again, you'll see a ton of people in this movie that later went on to do a lot of like background acting roles. But these are the big heavy hitters. These are the main cast on it. And honestly, just looking at this alone and the movies that these people have produced afterwards, it's ridiculous. How did they get this cast going?
Well, a lot of them were young.
They
had a lot to do with it.
And they got stuck into a movie that
Right.
they thought was going to take 6 weeks and ended up taking 4 months to make.
Oh wow!
So-
I didn't know that part.
Actually, they had planned 5 weeks, took 6 months. They all had like T-shirts made up from themselves that said "SpaceCamp" because it was taking so long.
Yeah, it's
I
not
read
just a
that.
job; it's a lifestyle.
Yeah, I read about that. And
You guys did way
disappointed.
more.
I
Intro.
was
I just
at
watched the
SpaceCamp
damn
for 6
movie.
months.
That's all I did.
Well, Leah Thompson's done a lot of interviews about this movie,
Right.
And that was one of the ones that, when she was talking about the making of it, they were miserable making this movie. But
I like that it's supposed to be at Kennedy Space Center,
But it's actually in Huntsville.
Alabama. Now, for the space shuttle stuff, they had to have shot at Kennedy.
Yes.
I mean that's
Well, a lot of the shuttle stuff you saw was stock
footage, right?
But because I think there's even one of the shots it's not Discovery, it's Columbia.
Right.
I think it is. It's actually landing.
that was actually a Challenger night landing. That was
Oh, was it Challenger? Okay, I knew it was. I knew it was one of the actual,
Right.
the ones that was actually used before it's the landing. But all right, we ready to get into the plot, kids? Because there's a lot to
Can
unpack
you give
here.
a synopsis of the plot?
Oh, I have a synopsis of the
Okay.
plot. You know this.
Yep.
So the whole thing is based around SpaceCamp. And for those of you that don't really understand what that is, Amy, you want to give us a little bit of an enlightenment on what SpaceCamp actually is?
It's Nerdvana. it's a camp for kids, and well, at that point, I think it was just mainly for kids. They really didn't have like adult stuff, but for people interested in the space program, science, computers, things like that.
Yep.
And you sleep. It's a sleepaway camp. It's not like a day camp. So you go there and you stay. And
It's like a week long, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like 5 days or something.
It's a week, yeah. But I just, and we'll get into our experiences on SpaceCamp later on after
mainly,
this.
you're not trained by former astronauts.
No.
However, there are alumna of SpaceCamp that have actually gone up in space and actually worked on the space ISS. But
and
going
Leah,
to be college kids that have,
Right.
been
with-
trained to teach you how to do this spacey stuff.
well, and in this movie, they kind of set the age a little older. Normally, SpaceCamp starts, I think, at what, 12?
I think I
think it's younger than that,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think I saw online that they have like an 8 to 11 and then 12 to 15.
I seem to remember
thing.
around 10 years old being like, I'm old enough.
It was around that time. And
it was,
in this movie, pretty much everybody was high school age.
right,
So,
except
I was 11.
Except
for
Max.
Max.
Except for Max.
Yeah.
I was 11 when I went.
And I was 12. So, but it all starts off in this, and it's supposed to be Kennedy Space Center, but it's really Huntsville. That they're going to be doing 3 weeks of training to learn kind of the ins and outs of NASA and how, everybody on the shuttle has different jobs and what their jobs are. So they all get assigned this job, and they're with Catherine, Kevin, Rudy, and Tish. They kind of all formed their own team with Max.
Well, they were all assigned.
They were assigned a specific team.
The color team.
Blue team.
They were blue team,
was.
yeah.
And
Because originally Kevin was yellow.
Yellow team.
Yeah.
And he saw Andy, who later she is actually one that is an astronaut. I want to say she was...
she's a pilot.
She was a pilot and an astronaut, but she's never flown the shuttle.
Never flown the shuttle. She had just been denied another mission.
Yep.
Like she had not been accepted to a mission, which is like the second or third time that
Right.
it happened.
And because she lost that job, she Zach.
Before we get into this, that was going to go.
Yep.
Okay, so in the very first opening of the movie, we'll have to put that on our Discord.
Oh yeah,
so
it's going
Amy's
up.
got the infamous Amy has a picture of her in her SpaceCamp jumpsuit, which is awesome. In the very first shot of this movie, we see a young Amy watching Andy. We see a young Andy watching John Glenn orbit the Earth, which
and he winks at her.
Was what 63?
Glenn's
64?
orbit was
mid 60s.
It's early to mid 60s, yeah.
And she looks to be about, 8, 9, 10 years old?
Something like that.
So you fast forward 20 years, this puts her in her very early 30s.
Mm-hmm.
Late 20s, very early 30s, depending on when this happened.
Right.
Tom Skerritt is very obviously in his mid-50s.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That wasn't awkward at all. Well,
that was one of the first things that I was like, "Oh, there is a big." I know that especially in these types of movies at this time, adults were just adults. It didn't matter. You never really talked about how old they really were. But in that, I was like, I started doing the math immediately. I was like, "Oh yeah, there's a big age gap here."
Oh,
yeah. Why does Dad have another family?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I guess it was the time. This is.
So they get in. They form this, and Andy kind of gets suckered into being their leader. Well, in the process, as you mentioned, one of the members of that team was supposed to be a guy named Hideo Takamine.
Yes.
And
that we see for about half a second.
Yeah, exactly. In line with a bunch of other people, where Kevin they basically switches name badges with him, and he holds it up and
because he saw
Catherine and wanted to get to know her better, shall we say.
Yeah.
Fact checked.
Yes.
And there is a strong 20 years between Andy and Zach.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. I have no doubt.
I'm telling you,
at least
that
he
must
had been landing his shuttle for 2 decades.
That mustache alone was 20 years older than her. But so there's a whole scene where Andy calls him out and says Hideo Takamine. He goes, well, it's actually pronounced Kevin Donaldson.
Right. And she's like, I don't have a Donaldson.
Well, you do now. Yeah. So
which that would have never flown.
Absolutely.
No pun intended.
So they go through their training in this, and they're starting the whole process of getting assigned different crew or different positions and stuff. And go ahead.
I want to just have you pause for a moment because
Sure.
we were talking about teams. And in the movie, they assign you colors,
right?
Which is a very easy way to just have a team. But in our day, our teams were assigned by company. So, for instance, you could be on the Coca-Cola team.
Okay.
And on the back of your T-shirt, they gave you a couple of T-shirts that you had to wear throughout camp. Yeah. So on your T-shirt, you would have Coca-Cola. I think you were Northrop Grumman.
Mine was Northrop Grumman.
I was Morton Thiokol, who ended up being the reason why the Challenger exploded.
Oh, nice.
So I have that fine memory of watching.
So it's your fault, is what you're saying.
Exactly. No, it's not her fault, but she sponsored the guys who made it happen.
Don't you know in this day and time, if you're associated with somebody who does something bad, then it's your fault?
Fair.
I felt a little canceled.
Yeah, there you go.
Canceled. I saw
infamous Amy. This is her only shot at ever being on this episode.
Yes.
We're going to have to put out a public statement.
Disclaimer.
Exactly. I'm hanging my head and
trigger warning at the beginning of it,
I will say there was someone from Morton Thiokol that tried really hard to say, don't launch the Challenger.
I was getting ready to say, when getting into that, if you want to go down the line of how many people were at fault.
Oh yeah.
It starts at the top and works its way all the way to the bottom.
Yeah.
So I mean, it is one of those things that could and should have been avoided
Stopped.
without
Absolutely.
any issues.
But
But
it was-
hey,
That's a whole.
that's a
different
whole other
episode.
episode.
That's
We
a
could
whole
do we
episode.
could do an
will
episode
go
about
way.
that.
We should go. We will do that episode.
That is a very
Absolutely.
seminal Gen X moment in
Yes,
time.
it's
Believe
definitely
me.
a touch
So,
point. So anyway, they're going through the training on this. They start to kind of befriend one another. Kevin keeps trying so hard to get in Catherine's pants. It's not even funny.
Oh,
Her
come
jumpsuit.
on.
Her
Okay, her
jumpsuit.
jumpsuit.
Yeah.
How about that?
You find out that Rudy wants to be
wants
the first guy to open. Was it a fast
Rudy
food
Tees.
restaurant?
Rudy
in
Tees.
Outer
space.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's like
exactly.
some guy on the space internet or International
Yeah.
Space Center is going to want a Big Mac.
He's going to get a Big Mac attack.
Yeah, yeah.
There's an 80s reference you
Yeah,
don't hear
exactly.
used. But you find out about that.
I
You
wonder
find-
if you can have it your way in space.
Ask Kevin and Andy. Or Kevin and
I was getting ready to say
Catherine,
I can.
Inappropriate.
I'm sure if you go and look it up on the internet, you can find that. It's
Well-
is it rule 34. Is that
Oh
what it is?
gosh, something like that. I don't know, but so they're trying. Again, they're going through camp, and you have the same kind of camp experiences that you hear everybody else having. There's a lot of montages in this movie, but one of the
and really bad voiceovers.
oh yeah,
Oh my god,
yeah,
that
yeah.
voiceover stood out like a sore thumb. Literally, like it just felt like it was just plopped down on top of everything. They didn't even try to mix it in. So
well, and one of the things that you notice as they're going through this is because Catherine really wanted to be shuttle commander, but she was assigned pilot. It seems like Andy is really riding her hard about
And that
just
comes back
getting
later.
everything right. There is a scene where they're on a simulator, and Amy, you'll have to help me out on this. The one with the 3 rings.
The multi-axis.
The multi-axis trainer. Thank you. The whole purpose of this is to basically try to get control of something if you go into a flat spin.
right.
And,
And for those of us who have seen Top Gun, we know what happens.
yes,
when
you lose
good
goose.
spin.
That's what
Exactly.
happens. You lose
Exactly.
goose. But Catherine's trying and trying and trying and just
Same
cannot-
summer, by the way.
Yeah. Cannot get it down. And finally, Andy stops her and, she said, 10 more seconds I'd have had it. And it's like 10 more seconds, you'd have been dead.
Exactly.
So, they're really just stressing the whole idea of, trying to make everything perfect for her. Well, while all this is going on, Max, our little buddy, who has been at SpaceCamp multiple times apparently, talks about this particular robot that was supposed to have been sent up. Kevin bumps into it and discovers it, and I can't remember the full name of what it was
Jinx.
called,
Yeah, I can't remember what
but
it
they
is, yeah.
nicknamed it Jinx because it never worked.
Right.
They found out that once it goes
It
over
was
a
what did they
certain
say was a $40 million
trash compactor
or
something,
no, it
yeah.
was because he was helping. He was giving tools. I guess a handyman or whatever it
Yeah.
was. It's like it's a
But basically, they found out that once it goes over a certain height, the thing just shuts
Right.
down or whatever. Well, Max apparently has this quote unquote friendship with Jinx. So
Jinx is very literal.
yes, very
literal.
very literal. But
And not in the modern millennial way of, where it actually means something that it doesn't. So,
yeah.
so in the traditional grammatical way, he's very literal.
So there's a scene where Kevin is wanting to take Andy to. I'm sorry, I keep saying Andy. Take Catherine to the launch pad to actually see. I
Hey,
guess it was
that would've-
Canaveral, or not Canaveral, but Columbia, wasn't it?
Canaveral is the launch pad, the Cape. Right?
Well, right. Which shuttle was it that they
Whichever one they went up in, it was Atlantis.
It was Atlantis. Okay,
Atlantis is
yeah.
what they went up in, yeah.
But they wanted to see Atlantis, and so they he buddies up to Max and said, "What's the easiest way to get there?" Now, one thing we haven't touched on is
I
that
was going to say before you get into too far down the road, if Kevin was trying to get with Andy, that'd be a whole different movie.
that would definitely be a one is made for Disney, the other's made for Lifetime.
Exactly.
So,
or Pornhub.
exactly.
You
But
guys can't see me shaking my head in disappointment.
oh, you can hear the eyes rolling on the other side of the table right now. But one of the other things we do need to mention is that Max is a huge Star Wars fan.
So many Star Wars
There's
references.
so many references to Star
So
Wars on this
many.
thing through the movie, and they're that kind of like cringy reference where you hear like a 6-year-old doing it, and you're like, we know you don't know what you're talking about, but we
Right.
respect the idea.
Right.
So Kevin's trying to persuade Max to figure out the easiest way to get over to the launch pad, and says, "Well, how would Luke Skywalker do it?" So he goes over and opens up his little closet door thing, and Jinx pops out. tells him exactly how to get to the launch pad,
Right.
Spots out off the information. Of course, Kevin takes off and runs with it. Well, the guys that are still in the dorm are fascinated by the idea of Jinx. They think it's the coolest toy in the world, so they keep trying to, get Jinx. Hey, come
That
over
was
here.
before.
Yeah,
it's and
he basically causes him to short out.
Right.
So
he overloads, and
so Kevin goes and kidnaps Catherine, and they run over to.
He didn't actually kidnap.
Okay,
he
she went.
He
willingly.
told her that he had cleared it.
Yeah,
which.
And of course,
exactly.
Kevin driving the open top Jeep Wrangler.
Love that Jeep Wrangler.
I know.
Man,
Is there ever a
love
more
that.
80s vehicle than an open top Jeep Wrangler?
I tell you what, here lately, because I used to have a Wrangler, and I loved that vehicle.
That tells me a lot.
I had it right up until just about a month and a half before my son was born, and it just was not conducive.
It's not
to-
a
Not a
practical
swagger
vehicle.
wagon.
Yeah, it's just
It
not.
is not a
you know,
practical vehicle for anything.
no, and especially mine because I didn't have a back seat in it.
Yeah.
So it was like there is no trapping the baby in the side, or in the
Time to the roll bar.
Yeah.
I think the police like bungee cords.
So I wound up selling it. Of course, now I'm like, son of a bitch, I wish I had my Jeep.
Oh
back.
yeah. So they go over there and they're just about to start making out when who rolls up but Zach and Andy, discovering that they had snuck out of camp,
Right.
And
Because Jinx ratted them out.
yes,
Yeah.
And technically, if they were at the
They'd have
SpaceCamp
been
in
kicked
Huntsville,
out,
Alabama,
yeah.
they would be 3 states away.
yeah,
Yeah.
So that's
That'd be big trouble.
That's the Mann Act, is what that is at that point. But so they get they pull him back in and they agree to let him back into camp. And of course, there's the whole scene with Catherine and Andy saying, "You've been hard on me since day one. Why?" And the whole because I believe in you, I see so much in you. All that that inspirational crap that you
She
see
sees
in
a lot of
every movie.
herself in Catherine.
Well, all right. So we go through all of that. The kids are the other guys are picking on Max. Well, Max gets pissed off because when Kevin gets back, he's furious that Jinx ratted him out.
And he blames Max.
And he blames Max about it and just says, there's no Star Wars, there's no Empire, it's a movie.
No Force, there's no...
He's basically just ripping this kid's childhood apart. Well, Max runs off to, runs through the museum, which, by the way, we were never allowed to do that. Once the doors shut, the doors were locked. We couldn't get out of the damn thing.
Exactly.
But so he finds Jinx, and he's sitting there talking about how he wishes he was in space. And Jinx takes it upon himself to go and connect to the main computer systems.
Which we're going to talk about this.
Oh, yeah. There's some scenes in that.
We're 2 doors down from the dormitory.
Right.
I'm telling you, geography was a great thing in this movie. So they're trying to, Jinx is trying to figure out how to get Max into space. And he's getting all of NASA's resources to try to figure out how this is happening.
First off, he goes into the computer lab, nothing's on. Mm-hmm. And so what does he do?
He lifts his
He
neck.
lifts his neck up, and lights come on around the outside of the shell that lifts up, and everything
Just
powers
magically
up.
powers up and starts,
In 1985.
Yeah, and he starts talking to the computer, and the computer talks back to him. Like there's actually he's not connected to the computer. He's not using binary. He's not.
Nope.
They're just talking to each other.
It's just
Did
like two
Al
old
Gore
friends.
consult on this film?
I don't know. It's
Just like two old friends.
yeah.
So NASA works with Jinx to discover that there's something called a thermal curtain failure. Mm-hmm. And the way that works is basically if
One of the booster
rockets fires, they have one of two choices. If they can't shut it down, they either fire the other one and launch them up, or it fires on its own and it makes an arc.
Poor
and boom.
irony.
Yeah.
For the time.
Yes, I know.
Yeah,
the whole booster rocket.
This was part of the reason why it was such a bomb in the movie.
But it wasn't the booster rockets. It was the
thermal curtain.
But no, I'm talking about with the Challenger. It was the actual
It was
solid rocket.
the solid.
booster.
Yeah.
Well, but it wasn't. Yeah, but it wasn't
The white
two
ones.
It was the one in the middle.
Yep.
Yeah, that
SRB.
had all the fuel in
Yeah.
it, basically.
The SRB.
Yeah.
But so they had found out that part of the special thing that these kids got to do in SpaceCamp is they got to sit in the actual shuttle.
Never happened.
Yeah. Oh, not only would it never happen, it would never happen with plastic helmets. That's the part that killed me.
This is just.
But they allowed them to sit in the shuttle during an engine test. So that's
and after 2 of the team members were caught breaking curfew, this would especially never happened.
So they allow them to sit in this shuttle during this test. Max does what he thinks he should, or Jinx does what he thinks he should do to help his buddy Max. They trigger the thermal curtain failure from NASA,
which was only going to happen once every 2.9 million years. Yes, I
think 99.9%.
It was 2.9 million years.
It's crazy.
It was a.
So they trigger it. NASA freaks out. The kids are freaking out because they don't know what the heck's going on. And all of a sudden, they make the decision to go ahead and launch the shuttle. So they go through an actual shuttle launch with plastic helmets on. I keep
no spacesuits.
No spacesuits. No plastic helmets.
You say no spacesuits, but
I know they go.
80s,
I know they do. They would go in the
jumpsuits.
I know.
They wore just the fabric jumpsuit.
Yeah, because the cabin was pressurized. And we get into that later on too. But
oh man, there are so many problems.
I know this thing holds just everything about this. When you're watching it, you're like, that would have never happened.
Nope.
So they launch these kids up into space. Everybody's freaking out about what's going on. They're trying to, once they get them up, they're like, okay, well now we need to figure out a plan of how to get them down. So because the shuttle was not ready for launch yet, this was just an engine test. They have limited resources on everything, including radio, including oxygen, including life support systems. But for some reason, they had all of the equipment on there.
Yes, I know.
We're supposed to leave the parking lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Still.
So
I guarantee that NASA's protocol is their tests are like an actual launch, and so everything is ready.
Exactly.
I mean, they're
not going to let anybody put their butt in that thing.
No.
Unless
even that is the liability first off of putting space campers in this thing would never happen, but secondly to put them in there and not have every safety precaution in place before they ever set foot.
80s.
I don't care.
It was the
this
80s.
Is and that's still just if we can say anything, at least at that point, NASA was probably the most capable government organization that was around. So
they like to play some things a bit fast and loose.
Yeah, well,
checking the engine.
Yeah, that whole bit, was a little bit, strange there. So they get him up there and they're like, okay, well, we need to find the next window. That you'll hear that if you watch the movie, they talk a lot about windows.
I have.
Well, and basically,
and Ellen has thoughts on that.
And basically,
I have problems with all of this, being a kind of a space nerd myself.
Yeah.
So it's
and the window part of it is actually true.
It is a real thing.
It's basically where the atmosphere is at the thinnest, to where it's
correct
the most ideal spot to try to re-enter the Earth's atmosphere.
Here's the problem. Before we get into that,
Go for it.
They have roughly 12 hours of oxygen. Okay. And they keep talking about, they're not going to have enough time to get back around to the window. That is complete and utter BS.
Yep.
Because seriously, in a minute, how many, or was it? It's like going at the rate of speed that you're traveling once you're in orbit, you circle the world how many times?
Exactly.
In an hour?
They show sunrise and sunset, sunrise and sunset.
I mean, it's one of those things.
We don't
they
have
keep
the
talking
oxygen.
about, you're going 17,000 miles an hour. Well, the Earth is only 53,000 miles around.
If you ever needed a better representation of this,
that's if you believe the Earth is round.
Well, exactly.
And if you ever
they did not show the turtle in this,
exactly.
So I mean that was
and if you ever
or
really
Atlas
need a good representation of what it really is, or the whole real situation and how fast you're moving, watch the movie The Right Stuff.
I know.
That
I mean,
whole
it's just
scene where,
because as they're pointing stuff out. Oh, look, there's the Swiss Alps. Oh, look, there's the blah blah blah. It's like
there's the
those
Great Wall of
things
China,
are thousands of miles away from each other.
Yep. So they figure there's no way that they're going to be able to make that. So they decide that they're going to go to a space station that's under construction.
Daedalus.
Yeah. Do you know who Daedalus was, by the way? Daedalus in Greek mythology was the one that actually made the labyrinth.
Yeah, that's
the
right.
Minotaur.
That's right. I knew I recognized that name. And I was like, why do they call it?
I mean, the fact that you're basically, you're making a space station named after somebody that's designed to try to confuse the hell out of people.
Let me ask you this. Okay, so like I know of course, Skylab had fallen in the late 70s somewhere. Mm-hmm. I know there was another. This was pre-ISS.
Yes.
Okay, I know there was another one in between there, but it wasn't Daedalus, was it?
No,
okay,
no. Daedalus was made up just for this.
Okay, that's what I thought. But I know that there was another.
And it's funny because you'll see,
station.
when they're doing run-throughs on the previously in the movie when they're in the museums and stuff, you'll see signs for Daedalus, and I'm like, really?
I didn't think it was. Okay, I was like,
no, it's not a real thing.
I knew there was another one. It was kind of an intermediate.
Yeah, well, they'd had different multiple satellites and stuff up there, but the whole point was that Daedalus.
You're thinking a mirror.
Space Station Mirror.
Yeah. That's right. It was a mirror.
So, but the whole point was that while Daedalus wasn't complete, it still had oxygen there. So they're like, all right, we're going to go over to Daedalus. We're going to drop out of this atmosphere, and we're going to go ahead and send one of our guys over to get the liquid oxygen. Yeah, I love that.
Oh my God.
So.
Oh, and the liquid oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
They only put it on the inner compartments of this,
rather than the outside where it's more accessible.
Yeah, exactly.
Which it looks like more like a floating jungle gym.
It's very much so. Very much so.
It looks like the best set of like monkey bars /
If you took.
Am I allowed to say monkey bars?
That's fine.
Absolutely.
Okay. Why not?
Yeah.
So monkey bars and...
is that offensive to monkeys or something? It's like,
I don't know. Monkeypox is out right now. So.
Yeah, whatever.
But if you picture a jungle gym monkey bars set up and take like propane tanks and strap it to them, you basically have Daedalus.
Yeah.
So
I'm pretty sure that's exactly how they ran that prop.
Yeah.
I also had, as rewatching this now, because I have not seen this movie since probably the late 80s sometime. Mm-hmm. The fact that they did not dock with Daedalus, they're just kind of
it wasn't
out there
running their little jetpacks.
There was nothing to dock. That's just
but
there was
still,
nothing there.
It's still one of those things where it's like, you can get in the same orbit with it, but you're not going to be 1-for-1 on how fast you're going. With
the whole
because you have this huge structure and then this much
and you're
smaller,
moving closer to it.
Yes,
it's not like the thing had brakes.
Exactly.
That's one of my actual favorite like clips is when she turns around and looks at where the shuttle is compared to like where she is, and it looks like it's 3,000 football fields away.
In the worst green screen you've ever seen in your entire life.
The outer space stuff is terrible.
Horrible.
My other favorite is when they're getting Max ready to go to
and they
help
put him in
Andy,
the spacesuit. Yeah.
And Tish has this belt that's around her tiny waist.
Her tiny might be a 28-inch waist.
I would say Alan or Barry could probably fit both of their hands and their middle fingers and thumbs would touch.
Yes,
and that would
she
be
was
Tish's
tiny.
Waist.
Yeah.
She's teeny tiny.
But this thing will cover all of him 3 times.
Wraps all the way around.
Yeah, she had this belt on. Oh, Tish, your belt. That's a great idea. Yeah. And then when Max comes out, I'm like, there is about 5 more yards of belts wrapped around Max that were ever around.
And able to secure too.
Right.
So anyway, Andy goes out on one of the limbs. I guess it's the limb. I don't know what those things are called. The little jetpacks.
Well, they call it. They called it something. Yeah.
But because her with the jetpack could not fit into there to get it.
I can't remember the name.
Maneuvering unit, some MNU.
Yeah,
something like that. LMNOP. I don't know.
I think that was they called it something.
So Max gets on the RMS, which is the remote arm,
right,
to be able to get out to.
Rudy's running it.
Yes, because Rudy's the best on the RMS.
Which again, from what the spatial aspect of it saw before, that arm wouldn't anywhere near.
Wouldn't even be close. So they finally they are able to get 2 canisters.
Okay,
loosened
first
up.
before we get to that, when Max goes out and he's like, "Oh, this is so cool," looking at the Earth, and then he looks over the side and sees the abyss of space and decides, I don't want to do this. And so he's freaking out.
Yes.
And Kevin does one of the greatest things where he starts doing Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yes. He's trying to calm everybody down, to get in there, and Max is flipping out.
Right.
And without missing
MMU,
that's what
So
man maneuvering unit.
Kevin, in one of his few moments of being a decent human being, goes over to the speaker and turns it on and just goes, "Luke, use the false, Luke. Stretch out your feelings.
Yes.
Just as the whole,
Right.
Obi-Wan Kenobi moment, Max instantly calms down, straps himself in, and away we go.
Yep.
And if you've never said those lines into a box fan,
True.
Oh, yeah.
you haven't been living.
Well-
a full
Or you
life.
haven't seen the movie Tommy Boy. So
Yeah.
that
that is popped up so many times.
Oh, yes.
In a post Star Wars world, those lines are that movie has been quoted so many times it's not even funny.
So anyway, so they get out there, they get 2 canisters. I remember this, and they're bringing them back. And of course, the whole time that this is going on, they're running out of air.
Right.
They're running out of oxygen. So it's dependent upon Rudy to tell them how to connect these canisters. And if one goes right, then everything's good. If something goes wrong, basically it's a container of liquid oxygen. It's a bomb.
Right.
Most people
Kinda.
train for a shuttle mission. I say people. Most astronauts train for a shuttle mission like up to a year.
Yeah. They had
And they run
least.
these,
Yeah.
they run these, scenarios and what would happen. But Rudy knew exactly where these cards were that would
Right.
tell him
Yep.
how to plug in the air. I don't know if it was an envelope, labeled, if you run out of air, use
Right.
this.
No, it had written on it MacGuffin. That's what it was.
right.
So
well, even with this, the whole no, it's the blue one next to the yellow. No,
Yeah,
it's the
blue
blue
next
and
to
the
the
blah, blah,
green or
whatever.
whatever,
It's
yeah.
one of those things where you sit there and go, I know that NASA is far smarter than to make it that difficult.
Yeah.
To where if you put it in this blue one, you're going to die.
Yeah.
I just
you would think that there would be better fail-safes or better labeling.
Yes, exactly.
Which shade of blue?
Yes, exactly.
Because if you go back and watch the scene, there's like 3 different ones that are different colors of blue.
I know.
But so they figure out how to hook up the first one, and everything hooks up fine, and it goes well.
Right.
Yeah, you get that lovely gust of air as they come through.
First off, okay.
All right, hit it.
Why in the hell were the shuttle doors not closed before they did any of this stuff?
Thank
Good
you.
question.
Okay.
Good question. we discussed that. Yeah.
Again, so many problems when they get to space.
Oh yeah. So they get the first one hooked up, everything's good. They go to hook up the second one, and Andy, something goes wrong, and it ignites the canister and shoots her across the bay,
Right.
and slams her up against the back of the cargo bay, and she starts floating away into space.
Okay. No, actually, she doesn't because she's tethered. Max is the one that started floating away into space prior to this.
Andy
And
got her
remember-
bells wrong.
Yeah.
Yes, remember? Because he had the oxygen tank attached to him
Yeah.
to take it back over because he was supposed to get on the arm. He didn't have the MMU.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay, so Andy jets across to go get him. Mm-hmm. Complete bullshit.
Yep. Never
Okay.
happened. Never
Don't
happened.
do that in the. You don't do that in the trunk.
You do not.
You're
all
in the
of this
trunk of the
stuff-
car. You can't
all
do
of
that.
This stuff is just like, oh my God, that this. No. First off, Max would not have floated as quickly as he did, for one thing. And secondly, if he were floating as fast as they've shown him floating in the sailaway,
He'd still be
She
going.
would never have caught him,
Yeah.
no matter what. So
And the immortal words of Marty McFly. This is heavy.
yeah,
This is some heavy stuff.
Yes, it
This
is.
some science stuff.
in the mic,
that-
you got to stay
This
in
is
the
some.
mic.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just in my feelings right now.
Are you not? Are you not? I had such a bad joke. I'm not going to
let
say
it
so.
go.
You just have to get used to the big black thing in your face. So it's
I have another picture. I'll show you in a minute.
Hey,
I
hey,
do
hey.
again.
So anyway, back to the movie.
That's a question for Barry. Like, why did you?
Why is it so scary, Dad?
Why is it big and black?
Put some hair on it. She'll be used to it.
Oh my gosh! Stop.
So anyway, back
Me
to
too.
should've
Me too.
known.
Me too.
You should have known.
Hashtag me too.
I am uncancelable at this point. So it's
So we go through, Andy gets basically knocked unconscious. She's out there floating. They send Max out to go get her again.
Right.
They finally he gets a hold of her and drags her back into the bay.
NASA has taken over at this
Oh,
point.
yeah, that's right.
They've gone on autopilot.
They've gone on autopilot because they're approaching their window. They know that they've got enough air now, so they're going to do it. Just before Max goes out to get her, the doors start to shut.
Out. Okay, so they don't have any kind of
the radio doesn't.
The radio doesn't work. And all this kind of stuff. How did they know that the oxygen sensors were?
Because the sensors actually still work.
Okay,
the radio is one component. It does, but they still have.
I guess you're right
because
they're able to track when they change orbit and this and that.
And also, if you watched, they could tell when everything went through because one of the gauges at Mission Control. Instantly, the oxygen level went all the way up to 100.
Right.
So,
okay,
that I'll give them that one.
Again, let's go back to this radio thing. Okay.
I feel like we're not giving Tish her moment.
Oh, Tish is amazing. Oh yeah, in this.
Tish for playing the Valley Girl.
But we find out that she is smart. She is smart. Is that she has a photographic memory. Yeah. But she also tested really high on her SAT.
800.
800s.
Yeah. And that was a whole because it's one of those things early on. That Catherine had just kind of written her off as like, oh, she's blah blah blah, and then they start talking, and she like quotes like all this stuff out of the book that she read.
And can we just take a moment here, since we're talking about Tish? Was there a more stereotypical personification of Valley Girl, wear? Than Tish with the weird dangly earrings that
maybe Sarah Jessica Parker in Flight of the Navigator.
Okay, they were close. I'd make an argument either way.
We've already talked about that one,
but we definitely would make an argument either direction. But I still remember the scene when they first get up into space and everybody realizes that it's zero weightlessness and. Tish's earrings start going everywhere.
Yes, I know.
I was like, it's a little thing, but it's an important thing.
It makes perfect sense that would happen. Yeah.
So while this is going on, Tish gets the idea they discover that they can still read all of their readouts back at NASA. So she finds one little switch that she can turn on and off, and starts hitting Morse code.
Right, because she read a book about it.
Because she read a book on Morse code and actually memorized it.
Right.
So,
which good on her because being not in the Boy Scouts, but being in what was called the Royal Rangers when I was a kid. It was Assemblies of God. It was kind of like their version of and I actually did. We did read about Morse coding. It's part of the whole deal. I couldn't tell you shit about it now.
I think I was like SOS is about the only thing I remember. No, so back to our drama.
Yeah. Meanwhile, back in space.
So Andy is floated out of the cargo bay. NASA is taking over the ship and starts to close the cargo bay doors. Well, there's a tether that's going on that Max is trying to pull her back in. If those cargo bay doors close, it's going to snap the tether and they're going to lose Andy. So they're making...
No. Andy's just going to be stuck outside.
Well, they would lose her.
Yeah, but
one way or another.
It's not snapping the tether.
Yeah.
Because that actually comes into play in this, which is another problem I have with this whole thing.
So they're trying to decide whether they want, what they want to do. Do they want to,
Just to clarify, we all love this movie.
Oh yeah,
okay,
yeah, absolutely. This is what led Amy and I to go to SpaceCamp.
There you go.
But Kevin makes the executive decision through the process because Catherine is trying to decide, whether to cut the connection to NASA or let them take over and just end up writing Andy off as a loss. And it's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Finally, Kevin just reaches over with 2 seconds left and flips the switch to kill the connection.
Yeah.
As a
flight commander
would
do. Exactly.
So they open the doors back up. They pull Andy back in. They get her in, close the doors. And there's, Tish is over there still flipping on the switches on and off, trying to get them to recognize it. Well, NASA at this time is freaking out because they don't know what the hell's going on. They just lost that connection. They're convinced these kids are dead at this point. They finally get Andy back in, and they know that she's hurt. She's hurt bad. So they're trying to, get everything organized and figure out some type of a game plan to get themselves home. Well, and help me out here, Amy. Was it Rudy?
Oh, okay. He pointed at me and shushed me.
I did not shush you.
Yeah, you did. You went.
But in the movie, was it Rudy that came up with the White Sands idea?
Well, no, they Yeah, he said he thought he's like, hey, didn't the shuttle have to land in white? He said white
planes. It's like that's in the middle of New York.
But then it was Kevin who was like, or was it Catherine?
Catherine said white sands.
You mean white sands? Yeah, in 82 mission. It's
Yep.
So they're going through this, and they've come up with a plan on that, and they're trying to figure out how to get this over to it. Well, Tish is still over there just pounding on the keys to try to get them to respond. Till finally Max is in there. Comes into the Jinx. The Jinx, excuse me.
I know Jinx it's easy to get them confused.
It's short names. Jinx comes in,
both
and Tom Skerritt's character says, "What have you done?" Mm-hmm. Basically, he comes clean on everything and notices this one little light keeps flickering, and Jinx starts spotting off letters, SOS, SOS. Yeah. Finally, they recognize. They're talking to us.
Right.
They're responding.
Right.
So instantly NASA starts sending the signal back up to getting their stuff to start blinking.
Right.
To which...
Do you remember her line? Tish's line?
I don't. Off the top of my head.
Whip me, beat me, take away my charge card.
NASA
is talking
to us.
I remember the take away my charge card, but I did not remember the first part of that.
Just that deadpan, big-eyed, spin around...
Okay, sure.
Maybe that's why she wore the belt.
Okay,
but we
there
don't
you
know.
go.
Yeah,
kids movie.
That's
kids movie.
Kids movie.
Never
80s
explored.
kid movie, and it's like where there's all kinds of. Okay, before Jinx. Hours earlier, Jinx is looking at what happened and said, "I have to help Max," and they show him leave the computer center.
Max.
Hours later, he finally rolls in at just the right time.
Kids movie.
That's how connected he was. He was so connected.
Well, if you think about it, he had to get from Huntsville to Canaveral.
Oh yeah,
so,
I know, but still, but by this movie's logic, he should have just rolled next door and everything was fine.
I just have this image now, realizing that this was at Canaveral. They were in Huntsville.
I know.
I have this image of Jinx going down like 65.
Yeah,
Well,
but again, they're supposed to be in Texas, so it's
so they finally get the message over. They send the information back to Huntsville. They send them Huntsville now.
Back
Canaveral.
To Houston,
back to no, it's Canaveral. It wasn't Houston. It was at Canaveral's.
No, it's at Kennedy. They're at Kennedy.
They're at Kennedy.
They're in Houston. Yeah.
So they go through the whole thing and they get the message back over it, and they give him when the window is for White Sands, which is in 6 minutes. I remember that, the longest 6 minutes in the history of cinema.
Kind of like the hour at the end of Cloak and Dagger.
Bingo. Bingo. So they're going through all of this. They finally get to, everybody's secured down and trying to go through the process of entering the atmosphere again. Catherine is freaking out because they have to hold it at a certain 30-degree angle.
Well, first off, they go into a dead spin.
Oh, that's right.
She has to get them out of it.
And she recovers.
Yes. But then they have to get it 30 degrees. That's at least 30 degrees. That's the least amount.
To hold it at that angle, and she keeps freaking out and second-guessing herself, so it drops and pitches and yaws and does all this other stuff. And the whole scene of, we're burning up, in every single movie or TV show where somebody's coming in out of the Earth's atmosphere, they're always going to catch fire.
Yeah, I know.
So
which is not
completely
inaccurate, but not accurate either.
Right.
It's a.
So they get him through there, and of course the radio didn't work in the first place. But once they go into a certain blackout area, they get no response on anything. Right. And they do have radio. They just have short range
radio. Basically inside the atmosphere.
Yeah. Once you get outside the atmosphere, it don't work. So once they get through, it's that whole tense moment of everybody waiting for a response. And finally, this is Atlantis, and you see them come back in the big cheers. They all high five.
They put them on autopilot.
Yeah, they put it on autopilot and they actually show the land and into the movie,
which is complete BS.
End scene, and you're like, what? Wait. Hold on.
Yeah. How many lawsuits came out after this?
I was getting ready to say, yeah. No, yeah. The actual interesting part of this movie happens after the credits roll.
Yeah. And NASA was never heard from again.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone was fired. Catherine never went back into space because she was, she was, there are so many issues.
Max is still in jail.
Yeah, so. I know. Jinx was completely
Jinx is a paper.
He was disassembled and completely just,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know. And again, we love this movie.
Oh yeah.
And it's one of those things that kind of
one of our favorites.
I know. Where you look at something with adult eyes and you're like, oh, wait a second. But yeah, everything in space as far as the the special effects go, is terrible.
Oh,
I mean, even like, they did okay in the beginning with the weightlessness, but then there's a scene where Catherine like flips around or whatever, and it's horrible.
You can tell she's on strings.
It is horrible green screen of like you can see the outline around
the
her.
Daedalus scene, the whole scene with Daedalus. If you look real carefully, I mean,
there are no stars in the sky.
Space is not supposed to be backlit.
Right.
So, that was my big complaint on that as I'm looking at it going, okay, why does it look, space is supposed to be black, not gray?
Yes.
You can almost see the green outline of everything. I was just like, oh, this is so bad.
The only time we see anything in space other than the moon or the Earth is
Daedalus.
When they're on Daedalus, but when Max looks over the side, looks into the mist, and you can see like a nebula somewhere, you know. But it's one of those where it's like, no, seriously, there are stars everywhere.
You may have seen a few.
I mean, that this is you think you go out in the night sky whenever you're outside the city and you see a ton. Just wait until you're outside of the atmosphere.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Anyway.
All right, so a couple things in this movie. The reception. Well, production we've already kind of talked about. Right. Amy mentioned early on that this was supposed to be 5 weeks and ended up being 6 months. I mean, everything about this thing just went south. Now, in all fairness, they had the production on this. All of this was done prior to
the space shuttle.
The space shuttle blowing up. So they were faced with that option. Do we shelve this? Do we get rid of this? And what do we do?
You mentioned ABC Studios.
Yes.
Made the movie. And they were going to capitalize on the whole teacher in space phenomenon of a civilian, so to speak, going up in space. And Chris McAuliffe was supposed to be teaching lessons when she was up there.
Right.
There was a lot of PR stuff going on, and so NASA wasn't necessarily hating on this movie either.
Right.
For it to get made, they let it be filmed. I mean, the Space Center in Huntsville is still government property. It's still NASA, so they let they allowed the movie to be filmed and exteriors to be filmed on site there. So they weren't hating the movie either. You know, they knew this would be great PR for more civilian launches potentially. And then the unimaginable happened.
Yeah.
And here that movie was still in the can, and it was like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, it is, and in a way, I'm kind of glad they handled it the way that they handled it. Yes, they took it on the chin. As far as financially, like I said, it didn't even make half of its budget back.
Right.
This movie just was destroyed by the critics. I'm not even going to go into what Roger Ebert said about it. He just ripped it to pieces. But the interesting thing about this, though, is...
If you ever want to know what I really think about Roger Ebert, because you can go and look it up on YouTube, just go and look at the Siskel and Ebert review of the 1989 Batman.
Oh, I've seen it. Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, enough said.
I mean, and I'm no great lover of that movie. I understand it's got flaws and everything, but they ripped it to shreds on there. So.
Well, but the thing that I find so interesting about this movie is, as much as it was hated, as much as it was technically considered a bomb, from a movie standpoint, Leah Thompson, as I said, has been kind of the front runner for this movie. She's really championed this movie a lot. And she has said on multiple occasions where she's had people that have come up to her that thanked her for making this movie that are now involved in the space program or are teachers or are scientists or, just the whole STEM element of it basically was founded around the basis for this movie. So, I mean, it's had a lot of good that's come out of this movie, and it's even had the birth of SpaceCamp, the actual camp itself. I mean, it went from, I think when Amy and I looked this up a while back, it was just maybe a few hundred people that did it in the first couple of years, and they honestly thought they were going to have to fold it. Once this movie came out, it exploded. Pardon the pun.
Yeah. And I'm sure it was after another year after it hit home video, because that's where I saw it.
Yeah.
I didn't see it in the theater.
I mean, they opened up multiple camps in Huntsville. They opened up one in Canaveral. I want to say they had one in Houston too.
Closed.
Yeah, they have eventually
all of the
closed that
camps
one.
are now in Alabama.
Yeah.
And it's not just space oriented too. They also had one that was for
STEM.
The STEM one, but they also had the one for airline flights, for pilots ones, like a military base one.
Right.
Something challenge.
Yeah.
Air challenge.
Aviation challenge.
That's it.
Yeah.
Aviation.
On a kind of related note, did you guys see this week? Of course, when this airs, it'll be several weeks ago. But did you see this week where Huntsville, Alabama, was named the top place to move to in the United States?
Good. Let them move from Nashville.
But yeah, I know. I kind of think the same thing. But I have family that live down there, and I'm like,
I love
dude,
Huntsville.
hey, I do. I love Huntsville. Huntsville is on my short list of if I ever move away from Tennessee of places I would consider going.
We should go to SpaceCamp. All of us.
I'm down. I'm down.
Hey,
we could get
I never went to SpaceCamp. I have been through the Space Center. God knows how many times I went. We went. Huntsville is roughly 2 hours from here, give or take. And I remember, I forget what year it was. I think I was in either third or fourth grade. Taking off down.
Oh,
there.
yeah.
And we got on the bus. We drove all the way down there. We went through it and everything.
Had
We got
lunch
on the bus
and came back.
Drove all the way back.
Yep.
We had a lunch that was shuttle-shaped nuggets.
Yes, pretty much. Yeah.
Shuttle-shaped nuggets and shuttle-shaped fries, astronaut ice cream.
Yeah, I still love astronaut ice cream.
Yes,
still
we
one
did
of my
all that
favorite
stuff.
things ever.
But then also going there again because we had family. Okay, personal note on this one. My uncle Jim graduated from Vanderbilt University here in Nashville in 70.
Anchor down.
Go Doors.
76-ish, I guess, somewhere around in there. And immediately got a job. He was in the engineering program. Immediately got a job, not working for NASA, but working for a company that was a subcontractor of NASA.
There's a lot of them down there.
That's just as good.
It's just NASA and the military. I mean, that's all. I mean, that's all. But here's the thing. They actually worked on the booster rockets for the space shuttle.
I wonder if he worked for Thiaco.
I don't know who he worked for then. I know who he worked for after that.
Right.
But yeah, they worked on the booster rockets, and this is for the Columbia. This is when it first went in the air.
Well, and the thing about and again, if you're in the South at all and you have the opportunity to go to Huntsville, the Space and Rocket Center, go.
Yes,
it is so much fun.
Absolutely,
it is so much fun, and you really get to see a lot of things that are not just NASA related, but they've got things now about SpaceX.
Right.
They've got they still have the SR-71 out there.
Well, should you guys realize that SpaceX turned 20 this year?
Yeah, I know. Jeez. But I mean, and
Amy rolls her eyes over here. I know how she feels about Elon Musk. So
but I think that's
my nostrils are flaring. I can feel it.
Elon's going to save us all. Okay.
He can park a rocket.
Yeah.
That I will give him that.
He can park a rocket.
And and they also can have a car that drives on its own. So
most of the
time.
But
if you've ever watched Silicon Valley, that is not.
Oh, I know. Well, it's trapped in that container.
And then on a kind of a personal note, one of the first little getaways that Amy and I took together was to go back to Huntsville and to actually go to the Space and Rocket Center, and it's a lot different.
And honestly. It was during the pandemic.
Yes.
It was mask time. There weren't a lot of people.
Yeah. Which I kind of imagine is wonderful.
Oh,
it was really nice. It was super nice because there wasn't a lot of wait time to walk between things. But we pulled up in the parking lot and both of us just looked at each other and we had tears streaming down our face. I mean, we're like, we're back.
We got to see the habitat.
One of the things that I thought was so cool about the Space Center, it probably would have been around this time, was whenever they opened the IMAX.
Yes.
They call it the Space Dome or whatever it was. And that was really cool because they had, what was it? They had a movie about the space shuttle.
Yeah. The Dream is Alive.
The Dream is Alive. And then there was another one
narrated by Mr. Cronkite.
Yes, it was Walter Cronkite. And then
if
what
you've
was the
never
other
seen
one?
that,
There were two of them they would play. The other one was space related as
and
well.
It was Mission something.
Yeah, I forget what. But The Dream is Alive was amazing.
Yeah.
If you can catch it on, I think Netflix even has it.
Probably. It's still not
one
the same,
of the
though.
streaming services has it. But if you have never seen it in IMAX,
man, it's something to behold. There's no.
I remember the footage they had of Columbia launching, and it's from the ground level.
Yeah.
And as it's going up, and you can see it, and it's doing its whole movement.
You see the tiles and stuff coming off.
And that's
of it.
but I'm talking about even before we get to that point, where it's still at ground level, and all of the exhaust, all the smoke.
You see the birds flying,
and it's
away.
one of those things where the smoke fills the entire screen, except
and
for
then you just
one little up in the corner, and you can see the space shuttle going.
I remember
that, and just being like, this is a fucking amazing. Just as a young teenager, you know. So.
I work in technology. I've had the opportunity to use VR in different instances, and every single time I've used VR, I've had to excuse myself to throw up.
Yeah.
But
was a latency,
IMAX is a different experience, and it's worth it. I mean, it's not a, I think I saw a friend saw a Marvel movie on there where like
I have too, whatever.
The theater by us at Opry Mills has like the chairs that like blow smoke and water
the
on your face.
40X or whatever it is. Yeah, whatever. I don't care about any of that
That's
shit.
not what that's not what this is about. No. But it's just about the 1980s experience
and
thing.
The other thing with it is it like the IMAX theaters that you go to over here, anywhere that has it, it's a huge screen, yes, and it's probably the stadium, where it's the stadium seating,
Right.
Well, and that's
the difference is the one down there is it is a dome.
Yep, and it's almost a vertical seating.
Yes, it is, and it's really cool. Of like you are surrounded by screen,
and you're looking straight
up into it.
And that's I think, and a lot of the IMAX, the original IMAX, is when they did that. That was the idea, is that all the seats were just at such a steep angle. I remember that vividly.
Oh, I do too.
Having to like hold on to things to climb up just to find a seat.
I know, and it's so
I'll share a little personal note. I am a cancer survivor, and I had to go through a lot of scans, MRI, CTs, and one of the scans I had to do, it was like you were in a Pringles can and someone was hammering on it for a good 30 minutes.
It was
MRI? I think it was a CT scan.
Okay. Yeah, that's about. I've been through, not for the same reason, but I've been through both of those in recent years.
They're not fun.
No, they're not in the slightest.
Not fun. I understand why people like that open MRI that's available now, but the CT, and I kept telling myself, I was in my 30s at the time, you could still be an astronaut if you can get through this. Like you wanted to be an astronaut, lay still.
I know.
Lay still. That was my whole like psyche. That was my mentality. And I wanted that so much when I was a kid that even when I was in my 20s, and I became a parent, it was like, all right, well, probably can't do that now. But I sure can like pretend and play and have those moments and that's why I would want to go back to SpaceCamp and just have the experience again. 100% would love to go back and do it. Well, but yeah, that MR CT scan, I even laughed at myself when I got out, and the nurse was like, "You okay? Something funny?" And I was like, "Nah, just get myself through the moment." And it was a long time I was in there.
Well, it's very much, especially with that, and also looking at. It reminds me of Space Oddity by David Bowie. Hey, I'm floating in a tin can. It's all this. So yeah, I get that. What's the other thing that's really fun or weird to think about is that the Space Shuttle Columbia went up in 82. So we're 40 years out from that now.
40.
And I remember watching that on television at school. I was in second grade when it happened, and being like, wow, this is the coolest thing. And then later on when it came back, watching it land, those were like the coolest things I had ever seen. Because again, we grew up in a time when the space race was 20 years past us, know? And that was something we heard about, but we didn't really. It was old hat by that point, and so you didn't see a lot of rocket launches and stuff. So this was something for us that was really cool. Like, we get to see the next generation of this.
Well, the whole shuttle thing in general. Right. I mean, I still remember the first time that I went to SpaceCamp and got to see Pathfinder. And I was just blown away. Now, for those of you that don't know what that is, in U.S. Space and Rocket Center in Huntsville, they have a mock-up, a 1-to-1 scale model of the space shuttle, complete with SRBs and everything else on it. It's mounted. It's called Pathfinder. The reason why it was created was so that they could use this for the transportation of the actual shuttle to make sure it can get like around buildings and things like that, but also check the weight when they're taking it up and putting it down on, was it a 747 that they mounted it on?
I remember having that model when I was a kid of the 747.
Oh, I totally did the same thing.
Yeah, with the space shuttle on the back.
But I knew...
And they also did tests with that, where they would release it to have it basically glide back in.
Yeah.
That was so...
But I remember knowing then...
We're totally nerding out.
It's fine.
I'll probably never, ever get a chance to see an actual space shuttle in person, but seeing Pathfinder...
Well, we'll never see, Columbia or Discovery. Or not, excuse me, Challenger, either one. Maybe,
but, they've just something about seeing the magnitude and how big it was. compared to like one of the Saturn V rockets, which it's big. Don't get me wrong.
It is.
But whereas Saturn V is
They're
essentially
tall. They're
tall and skinny.
That's the big thing.
They're very tall and skinny comparatively. Whereas the space shuttle was like this big. It was like a bus.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only way I can say it is it was like a bus compared to, you know, a Formula One car.
Right.
So.
Right. When we I was a little tongue-tied. When we were in Atlanta recently, and there was a museum that actually had pieces of the Challenger.
The nose cone.
They did.
Displayed respectively.
Right.
But he said, do you want to go see it? And I said, no, I can't. I can't. I just... I'm not ready.
Yeah.
It's
well, you know, that was... So many people have that story of... Oh, we were watching it when it happened.
Yeah,
I wasn't at school that day.
That was our Kennedy assassination. I think.
That was
our
the whole.
generation.
I wasn't at school that day. I was out sick, and so it was one of those things that like I was flipping through the channels in the afternoon or whatever, and like it was all over the place.
Well, and I still
that was a whole like CNN was wall to wall of this. And
well, not just CNN, but local channels were doing it too.
I know.
And I still remember going to. I had never been to Washington D.C. Until about 4 or 5 years ago, where I went with my nephew for his school trip, and of course we went to Arlington Cemetery.
Right.
And saw all kinds of different John F. Kennedys and the presidents and the famous people that are through it. But the one moment that I had that I just started bawling like a baby, they have the memorial to the Challenger and to Columbia, and they're right side by side one another. And it was such a special moment for me to think that these were not military people.
Right.
These were not presidents. These were not senators. These were not anybody. These were they may have had a military background, granted, but
pilots usually
to be in Arlington Cemetery and celebrated in Arlington when John F. Kennedy's grave is like 10 feet from you. I mean, it was just a very special moment for me to see how that's still revered to this day.
I know that in the Space and Rocket Center they have they have all of them up there.
Yeah,
as people.
They've got some.
Yeah, I mean
they've got so many cool little things about that. I mean, they have an entire mock-up of von Braun's office,
right,
to see where he was constructing these things back in the 50s, and kind of going from there. They still had the what was the name of the monkey? The first monkey,
Miss Baker.
Miss Baker. Yeah, she lived out her life in Huntsville, and they have a plaque for her. And
there's a really good documentary on. I know this one's on Netflix, and I believe this was one that Blumhouse did for Netflix.
Yes,
about
the monkey.
Challenger.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Well, they have the one about the monkey.
There's the one about the monkey, about all the primates that they are, the animals that they use.
Miss Baker.
Yeah.
The Challenger.
That shows how much of a nerd I am that I could pull Ms. Baker out.
I'm impressed. I am impressed.
There's an actual, just circling back to Miss Baker, there's an actual plaque out, kind of right out in front of where the dorms are.
Right, yeah.
Like between the actual like rocket area and the dorms, and it's a plaque with a bronze monkey.
Yeah.
To the
not a brass monkey, the funky monkey.
That one,
just, that funky monkey.
That's where I dwell.
But
I think on that note.
Yeah. Well, real quick.
Hold on, Barry's got some more.
Before we wrap up, there's a couple other notes I wanted to bring up. I always say it. What's the easiest way in the world to kill a memory?
Go back and rewatch it.
Make a remake.
Oh, are they talking about it seriously?
In January 2020, there was the starts from 20th Century Fox was actually talking about making a remake. Now,
and I thought okay for a moment.
Yeah.
And then, is it cake?
Yeah.
Mr. Saturday Night Live, Mikey Day, is supposed to be writing the script. And then it just, I'm going to use this analogy, crash and burn in my mind. No.
It was,
and nothing against Mikey Day. I don't want him writing my shuttle memories.
It goes back to, and we talked about it so much about how, and I understand there were some mitigating circumstances, but this was not a successful movie.
No, it was a bomb.
So why do you want to remake a bomb? Because
of the impact that it had on everyone after the fact. And it's such a cultural icon now that you say SpaceCamp and people don't think of Huntsville, they think of the movie.
Let's be honest though. If you remake this, all you're going to do is really codify for a lot of young Chinese people to become astronauts. And the reason why I say that is because in a recent poll that was done of different of American kids, what do they want to grow up to be? Most of them want to grow up to be famous. That's like their whole thing.
Yep.
Of Chinese kids, they want to grow up to be astronauts.
Well, the funny thing on the original script on this, the book and the original script, they had a totally different ending on this. It was supposed to be a group of Russian kids that got launched up to go save them and bring them back.
Oh, really?
In
'86, in the middle of the Cold War.
You see where that got scrapped.
Yeah, the middle of the Cold War, yeah.
But a couple
Not the Ruskies.
Yeah, couple of quick notes here before we wrap up.
Although I will say that the Russian astronaut that's in the space station in Armageddon is the best part of that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Russian, America, it doesn't matter. They're all made in Taiwan.
So did you catch the little hidden message when Max was talking to NASA? That's what was showing up on the screen?
When Max was talking? Are you talking about
when Jinx was talking to NASA and they were having that
You guys
interaction?
are really good at finding these hidden messages.
I remember
Easter
seeing
eggs,
some.
and I'm
What
just
was it?
watching.
Go ahead. I was, yeah.
They talked about Ed Grimley.
Oh, really? No,
it was a comment on Ed Grimley, and it finished up saying, "I must say." I was like,
missed that.
yes. Okay, so real quick on this, one of the other big things that inspired or promoted SpaceCamp in Huntsville was Double Dare.
Somebody's phone is.
Sorry, Double Dare.
Okay.
Used to give away.
Oh yeah, SpaceCamp. Yeah, that's right. I do remember that. That was one of the prizes. Was you could go to SpaceCamp.
We were watching that again with Ellie.
Double Dare.
It's awesome, dude. Go back and watch them just to watch the prizes.
I know.
And that's what we would always get excited, please win SpaceCamp, please win.
Yeah, I know.
Or the Bushnell,
the binoculars or
binoculars
the
and
telescope.
the telescopes.
Right. Oh, I had a telescope. I had a nice Jason telescope. That was kind of the standard for what you could pick up. I used to look at the moon all the time in
and the
backyard.
early Reeboks, that they would give them to wear and stuff. It was just God. All right,
go watch the Orange Years.
Yes,
that's all we can say. That is
that's an
such
amazing
a great documentary.
And finally, so SpaceCamp actually had some pretty damn famous alumni.
Okay.
All right, Chelsea Clinton.
Okay.
Amy Carter.
So president's daughters.
Karina Gore. Charlize Theron.
Really?
Are all alumni of SpaceCamp.
Those are names you know. Here's other names
she was the
throw
astronaut's wife. So
true.
Christina Koch, Kate Robbins, and Samantha Cristofori, I think it's how it's pronounced. They're all SpaceCamp alumni that have actually spent time on the space station.
Oh, cool.
So those are some real astronauts that we need to give a shout out to.
And the most famous two alumni of SpaceCamp is the infamous Amy and myself. So
there you go.
Most
famous for this podcast.
Absolutely. In this room.
Probably in this neighborhood. Yeah, honestly.
Oh, wait a second. I never told you. I was shuttle commander on my team.
Oh, were you shuttle commander?
What was your
letter?
Oh, I was a mission specialist.
Missile specialist.
Basically, it was my job to sit in the...
You didn't want SpaceCamp, Barry.
No. Apparently, I didn't want SpaceCamp.
All right. So before this escalates anymore, go and check out all of our show notes. There will be links to our social media. We can put, if the infamous Amy wants to be hounded, we can put all of hers in there as well.
Oh yeah,
we're going back.
Absolutely.
And and matter of fact, I'll even drop a link in here for SpaceCamp, for registration and all that stuff, just in case,
Awesome.
And but yeah, we're going to close out this episode of Retro Summer 2022. And next week we're going to come back with another really cool movie.
Oh yeah. And we might even get the infamous Amy to come back on it. I don't know.
Gee, I wonder if she's going to be here for this next one.
I don't know.
I can never imagine.
I've actually had a few adventures in babysitting, so...
There you go.
Shameless plug.
Stick around.
So, guys, I am Alan Smith.
I am Barry.
I'm his fiance.
Wow.
She didn't even go infamous Amy in this one. Or as she is in the Discord, the fiance.
The fiance, yes. I love that.
And then I was told, what are you going to do when you marry him? Because you can't change your name.
Well, actually, you can.
I tried. It won't let me do it.
Then she becomes the financee.
The financee.
Which isn't far off either.
There we go. So, guys, thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
All right.